Welcome to Dice and Mind, a podcast hosted by Brad Brown and Jason Kaufman to explore the intersection of life, games, science, music, philosophy, and creativity through interviews with leading creatives. All are welcome in this space.
So our guests tonight are ourselves. Yes. So this is going to this episode, as if you are listening to it as it drops, is within about 4 or 5 days.
5 days before the 5th anniversary of Dice and Mind.
And I've been talking to some folks and have mentioned the podcast, and it's funny how I've been like, you and I have been doing this podcast for
5 years.
5 years.
So everybody, welcome to the State of the Dice.
Yes, and who'd have thought, considering originally you thought it would go no longer than 5 episodes.
I estimated 3 to 4.
Yeah.
3 to 4 max.
Let alone 5 years and
let alone 5 years
and 167 episodes.
167 episodes, yeah.
So
inconceivable.
So Wallace Shawn.
In fact, the word does mean exactly what we think it means.
Yes.
It really does.
It really does.
It really does.
Absolutely does. So
for the next hour or thereabouts, fair warning, everybody, we are just going to ramble, preferably not rant. Maybe do a quick recap of where we've been, but this is really about us just riffing on where we are going.
Yeah. We have like, I keep explaining this. I keep talking about the podcast to folks on how we originally started this as just two guys vamping about life and games.
We'll ignore the irony tonight, but yes.
yes, and being middle-aged and so on.
Yeah, that's right.
And how it turned into a interview show,
which was not ever our plan.
No, it was not. And how long did we plan this? We planned this
6
for
months.
At least 6 months.
6 months.
Interview show did not come up at all.
Not once.
In 6 months.
Not once.
No.
Mm-mm.
So
that's a good point.
So that was literally a mid-cast course correction.
And when we, I'm going to push back at that. We didn't even know it was a course correction. Back when we had Rob Kolominsky out the first time, we didn't know we were course correcting. We thought we're going to try something a little new for us, see how it works. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we had, if I go back to look to the first couple episodes.
And in fact, we had Brian before that, but we didn't see that as and Aaron Peterson. I mean, we'd been dabbling, but we were just initially
we had Rob, and then episode 20 was Jeff Ashworth.
And that's when it hit for us that we can get people who know something to talk. And then who's next for 25?
Shelly Mazzanoble.
The wonderful, remarkable Shelly Mazzanoble. And I think I remember hanging up, and you and I were probably still on Zoom for another hour after that.
Yeah, thinking maybe what have we done with the show? We've just we've thought to ourselves, wow, we actually enjoy talking with people,
which is not us in normal life.
No. And so, now looking at, I pulled up because you track this so well in our notes.
We keep a note of every show.
I look back on this now, and then I'm looking forward to who we've had on and
It's
the
remarkable.
themes we've had on. And I when
Hmm.
I talk to people about it, I'm like, we talk with creatives,
Yep.
scientists, and just interesting people. I
Very.
can't even tell you at this point anymore. Um, you know, our theme is people we find interesting.
I mean,
Um,
and I mean, it is certainly more intentional than that. I mean, you're
yeah,
right,
but
but we do try
but
to make it almost always RPG lit, at least minimally adjacent.
adjacent, but
Not
but we've
always.
also but we've also dabbled in areas where, like, we've dabbled in our own respective
Yep.
professional areas
Yep.
too.
Yep.
So I would argue that there's a Venn diagram there, um, where
Yes. There's a Venn
where
diagram for everything.
yes, well,
But
of course there is, but
I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely and also okay, so actually this is a good segue for a sec if we might. So let's let's finish like kind of looking back, recapping by let's do this proper. So and we'll do this briefly. So the
yeah,
year was 2021. So it was April of 21.
yep,
We were still, and so keep in mind, everybody, April of 21, when episode one dropped, that meant that we had been talking about, Brad and I had been planning this actively since November of 20.
yep.
Let's think about that. I just want to look back for a sec together, Brad, on
Actively,
these.
and that's not counting during the pandemic when lots of us were just
That's right.
chatting regularly,
That's right.
and then you and I were chatting regularly, and we're like, if we want to do this, how would we do it? There was like just more ad hoc,
Yeah,
random type chats.
right. I mean, there were months before, probably 3 or 4 months before that, where it was like, hey, you want to do a podcast? And then, right, it was just ad hoc chats, ad hoc checks. But then, okay, so why do I bring this up? So we were deep amidst the pandemic.
Hmm.
Okay. So between April of 21 and April of 26, let's keep this, let's just really put this in context and do this humanely. Let's be honest here. In the past 5 years, you and I and our families have experienced major joys. We've seen our kids be really successful. We have experienced indescribable loss, some of
We've
which is still being processed, right?
Yep,
Both of
we've
us.
been we've been through all sorts of shenanigans,
We have been through
so
all sorts of things. We have we have been in the past, I think I can speak for both of us in many ways. We have been through the best of times and the worst of times in the background while this has been going on.
yeah.
And and you and I talk about this a lot, but one of the best things in the past 5 years to me has been this podcast and what it's done for our friendship and what we've gotten out of it in terms of enjoyment, in terms of scholarship. Like who knew that the podcast would become like a factor in my professional development, right? Um,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But so just to put in perspective, all of these things, and just like with all of you, dear listeners, right? If you've been with us for past 5 years, call us. We'll talk about improving your judgment. But you undoubtedly have gone through all kinds of stuff too, because that's just how life is. And so this podcast has just been there as a constant, increasingly as a constant for both of us through all kinds of stuff thick and thin.
I was just looking too because I'm going back to just as what you just talked about, like from a scholarship perspective.
Yeah.
Um, um, but I can't find it. Oh yeah, there it is. Episode 112.
Episode 112. We both have the list in front of us, everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was, I think, the episode that maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, that triggered your initial, hmm, maybe I should look at, or maybe I should investigate the idea, of doing an anthology on
Ah, it
leadership?
actually goes back to episode 106 when we
Does it?
had Amy Sturgis and Emily Strand on the first time.
The first time. Okay, I missed
Yeah,
it. I went back.
because
I
then
didn't
then
go.
Emily came back to talk about her podcast. Right.
Okay.
But I mean this to your point, like
Yeah.
in these 5 years, well within these 5 years, um, I mean it's relevant because the podcast has had a role to play. Like as we are recording this, but by the time the this episode drops, right, my third book will be in print, right?
Yep.
And you had a chapter in the second one in the anthology and have one in the upcoming anthology in a year or so from now. I mean, look at what's happening, right? And look at how some of these projects have allowed us to strengthen our relationships with the number of creatives out there, right? In terms of the cross fertilization. Like we didn't see, I'll speak for myself. I didn't see any of that coming. Yes, episode 106 with Amy and
That's
Emily,
just one
that
example.
that's one example of
That's
sparking
one
like,
example.
and it's interesting you're going here because something that you brought up to me. So moving from the past maybe more to the present, looking toward the future, you know where I'm
This is
going. I know where
yes,
you're
I
going.
do. Yep.
So we've talked about this on Dice and Mind very intermittently for at least a couple years.
Hmm.
But everybody, um, out of the blue, like maybe 2 weeks ago, last week, maybe it was about 2 weeks ago, out of
It
the
was about two
blue.
weeks ago.
Yeah, Brad. Sorry, I'm just getting over from what turned out to be like a 4 month long cold or whatever. Good times. So some of the dates are a little fuzzy, but like two
Yeah.
weeks ago, Brad texts me, just out of the blue, like I have ideas for Dyson Mind Press. Just,
Yes.
I mean, we hadn't talked about it in months and months and months. And there was a time when we had gotten serious about this and we just kind of let it go. And just out of the blue, so like that's something that I think is worth talking about tonight in terms of our future.
Yeah, I think it's been something that had been on my mind for a while. Obviously, the 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 writing that you do, the books that you do, and the um the third now with the third book of yours coming out with Dr. Aaron Peterson,
Hmm.
the anthology that came out last year,
Hmm.
the second anthology that will likely come out in 2027,
Hopefully. Yep.
hopefully,
Hopefully.
potentially, TBD.
And then I just started today officially writing the other one on healing.
See?
So there's a
So,
lot going
yeah.
on. Yeah.
So there's just a lot of writing.
Hmm.
I have ultimately I haven't really even talked about it, but I have like notes because it's harder for me to write coming from a non-academic perspective, in terms of where to put things.
Yeah.
But I've had notes for like quite a while
Said
on
that.
like camp compassion and empathy and leadership
Yep.
from a general perspective.
Yep.
Um, this whole idea of writing
Yeah.
has been like become like a big part of it. And let's be honest, it comes from our discussions about lit and
Yep.
RPG.
Yep.
It comes from our discussions with folks like Jim Johnson, Michael Dismuke.
Yep. I mean,
Um,
just so many of them.
yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to be able to name them all.
No, so many of them
But
across so
but
many IPs.
yeah, I mean, and then talking with folks like Merrick Moyer and others who are now like neck deep into the Cosmere
Oh
RPG and all
yeah,
that.
creating it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ross and
Hmm.
Slicer and all of those
All the
folks.
friends that are our friends at Green Ronin. I mean, we've been really lucky. We're not name dropping.
We're not.
We've been really lucky that we know so many people now who are writing across so many platforms.
Yes. And why I bring that up is just all this discussion about writing because we asked them about
Yeah.
their creative process, not only their
Yes.
product,
Right.
but their process.
You like
Because
to know how the proverbial sausage is made.
yeah, the sausage making, which is
Yep.
a terrible,
It
terrible
really is.
process, but it is so overused in the business world, and it just got so ingrained in my head in my past couple jobs because people overused it.
Hello, my name is Brad, and I'm a recovering business executive.
Exactly. So, yeah. So ultimately, I'm just always fascinated. And I think, listening to like someone like George R. R. Martin who would write on WordStar on an old PC, I'm always fascinated on, and
Oh,
Jim will write on an old
oh, what's
eMate,
that?
an old, it's not an Apple eMate, but he uses an
Oh,
old,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but he
Uh,
uses an old device and just, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole on this, but ultimately, um, I think that all kind of stirred the pot. You know, let's be honest, over the past 2 years,
mhm.
between the two of us, we've had enough familial turmoil um, that it's kept us busy outside of professional and podcast duties.
to
And
to the point where I think you probably did a little of this. I know I did a lot of it intentionally for a year and a half, almost 2 years, of having to shut down things because I didn't have the cognitive bandwidth
yeah,
to deal with all of it. Right.
yeah. I'm finally at a point
Yeah.
where all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you know, um, I it, I've I'm very and this I learned from you over the years. So I've watched and learned, and I've like found my own way of doing this, where I'm like deliberate in doing that type of
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
where I'm like introspective, and I said, okay, I'm now able to reopen some of these doors, and I'm re
Right.
and what doors do I want to reopen instead of just
Nice.
opening up and letting the floodgates in,
Hmm. Hmm.
or letting the floodgates open.
Have to be selective.
What do I want to selectively open?
Yeah.
And the idea of doing some like intentional writing
Hmm.
under our banner that is, you know, in between the stuff that you are doing and I'm doing outside of that.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
this would be RPG
this would be
oriented.
air quote, I'm using air quotes
Yep.
here, recreational
Yeah.
professional writing in a
Yeah,
way,
right, right. Well,
you know.
but not to minimize it. I mean, I think this would be a new thing for both of us.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I've been fortunate. I've had two opportunities now, hopefully two and counting, to freelance for my favorite RPG IP, and only one of which is out. And but those were very, very, very small roles, right? We're
I
talking
know.
about like creating our own,
Yeah.
whatever that is. And so
Yeah.
like we haven't had a lot of other than like you keep your text of I have ideas. Like we just
Well,
haven't had the time in the past couple weeks to sit down and plan.
no, and that's going to come up over the next few weeks as you
Right.
recover, because now you're recovering from being a little bit under the weather. Um, I'm going to have some time.
Yep.
And over the next few weeks, we're going to do the same intentional type of planning or we're going to start to do that the
Right.
same way we did this podcast.
Yep.
Um,
And the podcast isn't going anywhere.
no, 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 no,
For
no.
sure. That
This
that
is
will continue right along.
this has been our vehicle, and you know, I like you have said, like we've talked about before, um, doing this even during those like challenging periods, and
Hmm.
all of us have had challenge.
Oh yeah.
All of us are experiencing. Let's be honest, the environment that we are living in right now,
Not so good.
it's not an easy period. It's not an easy period for any of us to exist. I may have misread it, but I remember buying gas just a couple weeks ago, and it was like 80 cents less. It just went up 80 cents in like the short period that I went and filled up
I
for.
have to fuel up tomorrow or the next day at the very latest.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example, it is not an easy time to be a kid or an adult. It's just not an easy time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and um, but what's funny is there have been times where I know we've had to record, and I'm like, oh, I gotta record. But ultimately, even before we hit record, once we are in the Zoom, and we're talking even before we hit record,
Hmm.
that's that is therapy for me.
Yeah.
This has in many ways
Great
been,
normalizer.
yeah, it has
Yeah.
been therapy for me during weird periods
Yeah.
of life.
Yep.
And I mean, let's be honest, there's nothing about my 2020 decades bingo card that had a lot of what I have had
Yep.
encounter happen.
Yeah.
So, um,
So,
but
yeah.
the writing I think is something
So
moving
you got
forward.
you got the bug.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
I
club.
yeah,
Hmm. Good.
and I think, the direction I'll just put it out there. I think that kind of the direction we've talked about initially, and we'll see where it kind of plays out. But um the direction we want to go is looking at doing some writing within obviously the licensing realms that are there,
Hmm.
um, the Star Trek Adventures realm, obviously,
Obviously.
and then as well a 5e oriented realm, just
Absolutely.
because of the footprint that's out there
And
for fifth
and
edition.
if Edge Studio ever got going again, I would love to write in Star Wars.
Oh, I would too. That would be
I mean,
phenomenal.
it would. So, okay, so before we
What would
trans,
be really fun is
yeah,
if we want to do a little conjecture here,
yeah.
it would be fun to pull out the Genesis books and
Oh,
do some narrative dice writing in the
yeah.
Genesis Forge
Yep, yep.
for Android.
Okay, okay. So a few thoughts on this, and then we'll talk about some other ideas.
Yeah.
Uh, so I know we're talking about like Dyson Mind Press because that's like kind of how we've conceptualized this for a couple of years. But devil's advocate, it wouldn't need to be. So, for example,
No,
uh,
absolutely not.
if there are IPs out there where we could occasionally freelance for them as a writing team, to me that would be an offshoot of Dyson Mind, right? Even our credit could be, you know, Dyson Mind, not even necessarily us. I think there's a play space there to be explored.
Yeah, when we say Dyson Mind Press, that's kind of even
Yeah.
like a nebulous term right now
Yes.
because we might be writing under the guise of a license where it would be published somewhere else,
Right.
but
Right.
under a pen name or whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Yep.
Of,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
so
Yeah, I think we're very much in agreement on that. Now, I think it's fair to say, so one thing is looking at the future of Dyson Mind, our own writing, which is pretty cool. I think another thing is fair to say is for those who are curious and want to know, Brad and I continue to table the notion of a Dyson Mind OnlyFans account. I think it's fair to say we're going to put that off for at least another year.
what's that for
Oh,
say
see, you
that?
weren't paying, you were emailing someone. Yeah.
No. I was. Did I hear you say that you're actually going to wear the bodysuit?
You heard me say we're going to put off for at least another year a Dyson Mind OnlyFans account. I think it's fair to say
Oh
that's not happening anytime soon.
no, I think you have this unusual obsession with OnlyFans,
Yeah, not me, no. No.
but what did we where I'll be in my bunk, but ultimately, um, where did this actually just came up recently in a conversation, not about OnlyFans but um something else had come up where
Oh yeah. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what triggered that. Because again, we've talked about this over the years that there is this intriguing occasional overlap where like OF as an industry kind of like another Venn diagram, you got that in like all these actual plays. And but no, something did come up and I don't know why. I just know you sent it.
yeah, I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was. It was something related to gaming
Hmm.
and so on. And it wasn't something that had come up in the past where we've talked about how there are people who are doing like, should I say, non-adult oriented
Yes,
content out
yes,
there.
that is exactly what it was. It was something you sent me,
Yeah,
yes, about using the OnlyFans platform to, I mean, basically it's a business model,
yeah,
but without the nudies. Um,
yes,
yeah, so okay, so to recap, moving forward for Dice in Mind, writing, yes. OnlyFans, no.
Bodysuit for Jason, maybe.
Still no. Okay, so what else? What else is in the future of Dice in Mind? Like looking at like even though like a 1, 3, 5 year horizon, what do we think is
Well,
coming?
well, we've talked a couple times now
I know.
about doing a con.
There it is. Mm-hmm. You and I have been talking about this, and we've had some people say to us lately, like, you absolutely should do it.
Yeah.
I
And actually
yeah.
like doing like mobile recording at a con.
So yes, doing mobile recording at a con, like impromptu interviews.
Yes.
Um, uh, yes. Man, oh man. I think actually we've talked like we're not you and I have talked about this, and we might start smaller and see how it goes. Because like we're again where we are in the upper
I
Midwest,
think
there's kind of the epicenter, short of outside of the big ones,
yeah, I think we were going to do more of a regional one
like a
to
World Con or something.
yeah, or one
Um,
like there's like a couple that are in the Twin Cities or there's
Twin
like a
Cities,
couple in
yeah,
Madison.
yep, yes.
Um
And I think what's it's not so much a time issue. If we wanted to go, I think a question for us is, are we at the point where we can justify the cost of having a presence, of having a table? Or do we just wander and try to record live blog, whatever?
See, my original thought was we wouldn't table it for the first time because
Hmm.
there's really nothing unless we started doing some publishing
Right,
and
right.
things like that. There
Hmm.
really wasn't a point to us doing um a table.
Right, agreed. But maybe
Um
some cool looking polos.
yeah, oh
Mhm.
definitely.
I mean, we have
Yes.
to go there wearing the logo. Yep.
Yes.
So that yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up, Brad. That's that again, it's more of an investment. Like I just renewed last week our podcast hosting,
Oh, you
right?
did.
Oh yeah, that's a steal every year, but to go to a con, depending on, of course, if it was here or there, actually it wouldn't be anything because we'd have our houses. So, yeah, okay, I'm not committing us to anything. But you and I have been talking about this enough, and we've heard from enough people really who do this for a living, right? Who are deeply immersed in the RPG industry. Um, I think it's fair to, I'm going to put this out there to everyone. I think 2027 calendar year is going to be the year of our first con for the podcast.
I think that's a
Don't you think?
fair. Yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
fair. I think, you know, there could be something that could crop up out of nowhere in 26. Who knows?
Yep, later in the year, sure.
Yeah. But I think there's a stronger likelihood of us doing something in 27 we better plan. I think
Yeah.
there's um
But I think especially if I'm especially like knowing that the people we know will be there.
yeah.
So so I'm just gonna call out the games. So any con you and I would want to go to for Dice in Mind would preferably have uh a presence by uh Star Trek Adventures by Modiphius,
Hmm.
Green Ronin, Brotherwise.
Yep.
Um I'm just drawing a blank here. Um Uh, oh my God. Mongoose.
Mongoose. So
Um,
Mongoose, Green Ronin, Modiphius,
yeah,
um,
Brotherwise. Whom
Brotherwise.
else? Right. We would want to see that most of them were there.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So that we could talk to the people we know. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Interview, have discussions at the tables with them.
Yes.
Those would be some pretty neat episodes.
Yes, they would.
Right. Yep. And so I think that's where we're heading.
Yeah, and even if we can like find a space where we can sit down and say, "Hey, we're going to be sitting over here. Come on over at 2. We'll sit down and
Mhm.
chat, meet some people in person,
That's right. That's
things
right.
like that." Um, even, you know, we could even set things up for, like Yeah, I'll leave it at
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
potentially go out with some of them in the evenings,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's
Mhm.
such wonderful people affiliated with all of these companies,
Yes.
and so if we were to go, we would want a preponderance of them being there because that's really why we would go. Maybe participate in an actual play or two, maybe not. I think just wondering, you know, um. I would be your sponsor to make sure that you leave without having bought too much.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point. Although
Yep.
I don't necessarily have like, yeah, because you'd be my only backstop at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'll be honest with you. I think, I mean, unless there's some major release that would be occurring at a con, um,
Oh, I was thinking more of all the things we wouldn't expect. You know.
I'm trying to talk myself out of purchasing even before
You
we even
shouldn't
consider the con.
you shouldn't purchase anything.
It,
Yeah. No.
yeah, even
No.
before we even know what con we're even considering, I'm just talking myself out of it right now.
Con. That's right.
So,
Okay,
um,
so I mean so these are two definite thrusts for the podcast, right? We writing, however that manifests in one or more different ways. And do you think it's fair to say that's going to get started this calendar year?
oh yeah,
Okay, I
I would
think
say
so.
probably my guess would probably be in the next 4 to 6 months.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I think that's a fair timeline for it
Nice.
for us to properly plan, considering other projects that are going on and everything
hmm
else. If there
hmm
was nothing else going on, if we had nothing else going on at all anywhere else, it would we could have a more aggressive timeline. But we do have other things
I'll
going
tell
on.
you, I'm thinking summer. I'm thinking
Yeah,
for the two of us. I'm using that term loosely, but I'm thinking summer project. Uh, because yeah, I'm gonna need about 2 months of writing time, and then come summer, I'll be able to pause, and I think that's where it's gonna be.
yeah. I think
Okay.
yeah.
And then second thing, 2027, we're going to a con.
Yep.
It's not going to be SDCC, it's not going to be Gen Con, not the first time,
No.
but it's still going to be a good one.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to do a big con as our
That,
first
that's a
thing.
commitment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think we would like to go where we can talk to the people we know, meet more of them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I would like to establish some relationships with folks.
yeah,
Um in-person relationships with
exactly.
folks.
Exactly.
In smaller venues and things. And I mean there's a couple of them that people have mentioned when we talked with Matt Forbeck. He's
hmm
mentioned a couple here in the Wisconsin
Yep.
area,
Yep.
like Gary Kahn and so on. We've talked
Right.
with Jim Johnson, who knows
Yep.
some that are regional in the area.
hmm
Um, we've talked with Troy from Green Ronin about some that he knows.
hmm
So, um, we have people who have recommended a number of them.
And they do sort of overlap. Like I think we are getting a sense
Yeah,
of the lists that we're going to look at.
yeah.
Okay, so writing cons. Is there anything else? Is there a third theme that's coming down the pike
I
for
will say
us?
one thing we're not going to do that we're still not going to go down the live play path. I
No,
know we're not
no, we're
talking
not.
about we're not I know we're not talking about things we aren't going to do, but I'm just going to bring that
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I think that I know that you're involved in a project right now
Which
that
actually we haven't played for weeks.
right,
There's
but
there's a stasis right now with that. But right,
right,
right.
but I think at some point having the folks on from that down
Oh
the
yeah,
road,
that's gonna be a great episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, I think it's fair to say we're not going actual play. We we recorded the one for Shizzles and Gizzles,
yeah,
right? As they say, we wanted to test it out. It's just not our thing. There are also the space is
we're
full, if
just
you ask me.
we're just not that interesting of
We're
game
not
players.
entertainers.
We're not that interesting.
No.
We're more cerebral game
Yep.
players.
Yep.
We just that's just not something that people
No.
when we play I mean like the
We
one that
work hard,
Jason
we
leads.
play hard. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
It's just it's
No.
fun for us. I don't think it's necessarily going to be fun to listen to.
And oh, I'm sure
So,
it won't be. And it's a
yeah.
full space. There are so
Oh
many
yeah.
actual play podcasts and streams and videos. I mean, how do you break into that? Right, it's being done so well by so many now.
Yeah. I think the other thing that probably that's something that I don't see us doing really like for any time right now. We've jokingly talked about it is doing any sort of like video release. Um, you know, we release audio only. I think to be honest with you, I think in some ways that gives a comfort to our guests because they
Oh,
can
yeah,
come on
as they are.
as they are. So I don't foresee us needing to do any sort of regular video release. I don't think we have necessarily a listenership that would drive that right now. I think our
E-
listenership is
Yeah.
more people that listen to this in podcast form and audio form. Maybe that changes down the road.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see, I'm with you. I'm
you
with you.
know,
Yeah. So what else, if anything, have we been talking about? Where's Dyson and mine gonna go?
I'm peering around my room at the carnage of
Oh,
my
I know.
office.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, you have something?
No, keep going. Keep going.
No, no, I'm peering around because I'm like trying to think of what I could mention, and I'm not sure I know. So if you have something,
Well, I think on a more personal level, this would come up in discussion, but not as a dedication for a recording. I think you and I need to make a more concerted effort to actually play.
yes,
And we have a good time when we talk about those experiences and what we learn on the podcast.
yes,
And so, for example, high on our list, Midnight. Now,
yes,
now
which
I know
reminds me,
we're
yes,
we're doing we're actually you're going to GM some D&D for us soon, which is really
yes,
exciting. So there's
yes,
that, and then we'll talk about it. Midnight, I still want to play, and um, I really want to just go through. I've been listening to more of these. I just want to go through the character creation process for Traveler.
Traveler,
Each
yes,
of us go through it once.
yes.
The other guiding. I think that is too interesting.
There's a couple that the idea that you could die during character creation
Amazing.
is fascinating. So a session zero traveler for
Yeah,
us
just a session zero Traveler.
would be is I think would be absolutely fun.
Mm,
I would like to go back to um at some point. I really would like to um go back to modern age
yep.
um or fantasy age to the
Yep.
3D6 system. Um that to me is I love that mechanic.
It's a gorgeous mechanic.
Um there's just something about that
Mm,
mechanic. I have I'm actually looking at the books. I'm looking at my Green Ronin shelf. I have a shelf purely for Green Ronin
nice.
that has the
Nice.
expanse and the age and
There you
dragon age
go.
and all of it sitting there. So um I want to go back and play some age. Um but don't know yet what that would be quite yet because
Yeah.
I'm
No, I think
but
I think we'll start by getting back into some D&D.
yeah, D&D and we have the outstanding STA stuff still sitting out there from you. But D&D is next on the docket.
D&D, yep,
So
D&D is whenever you're ready.
you've done GMing in the late if in our latest attempts at or not attempts at our latest games. You've done all the GMing, so it's time you take a break. Um,
You know how I feel. I
you
would
like
love
you
to
like doing it,
just
but
I
I
do, but
think
I would love to just play.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I would I would love to just low pressure for you as a GM, not going nuts to prep, just let's just play.
yeah.
Hmm.
So it's on me to do it, and I have taken the pressure off myself to put together anything
You don't know.
highfalutin. This is going to be simple type of stuff. There's so much out there that there's so much 5e stuff out there that I could pull that you've never seen
Oh
that
no, yeah.
I could pull a canned adventure out So,
And I
um,
told you I'm going to take my Midnight character, which I have not yet used, and
yes.
I'm going to bring it over for D&D because I think he's the most provocative PC I've ever developed,
And
and
I'll
I
have
just
a
want to play him.
and I will actually play a character as I'm DMing.
Hmm.
And what kind of character you think I would play?
Bard.
Bingo.
Yep.
Yep. So, um, yep. So I'll have a character handy.
Yes.
We'll roll those.
So in the next couple of weeks, everybody, you can expect to hear about Schnitzelzabad.
Is that what the name is gonna be? We'll go with the name. We'll go with that name.
You're going to be Schnitzel?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
go with that name.
That's great.
That's a perfect bardic name. So, um, but yeah, I think we have to pick up gaming. Um, I'll be
Hmm.
honest with you. I have so much in my office that is like screaming to me, you need to game right now.
When I so want to see your shelves because like, I was going to
I can't show them right now because they're in a bit of disarray because I'm in the midst of moving some stuff around because I'm doing some measurements for permanent wood shelving.
yeah. Well, I haven't seen your quote new office, right? And it
Yeah.
didn't work out to come in this last weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
I am eager to see. Meanwhile, I have plenty of space on my shelves
I
awaiting upcoming purchases.
the other thing I'm gonna toss one out that is a little different and a little unique, but and this will
Yes.
probably be a 2027 thing, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um, I'm thinking probably in 2027 because I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be something we do when I visit up there because it has to be an in-person thing.
Twilight Imperium.
You called it.
Ah.
You called it.
Yeah.
How did you?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while.
yes. So,
That would be interesting.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that has to be in person. Oh my God.
yeah, you have to play it in person.
It'll have to be a 14-day visit so that we can get through the rule set.
Yeah, I think we have to go through the rule set online first to learn
Hmm.
it because each game could
Fair.
run 6 to 12 hours.
Man, oh
So,
man. Okay.
um, it would have to be a weekend visit,
Oh yeah,
um,
of course.
a weekend winter visit because there's no way I would want to do this in the summer if the weather's nice.
Fair.
And
Yep.
have ourselves locked in a house if the weather's nice up there.
Right. Right, because you
So,
can't just go out back to the patio or to the porch because if the wind picks up, you have a really big problem.
yeah, yeah,
Right? Your
everything
galaxy is
gone.
destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, I think that's the other one that's important. Um,
I like it.
I think from a guest's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
um, I want to continue for us to look for um, like writers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I would love to do is I would love to get and find some folks that are creative in the musical space. We've had like Nami Malumad on before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would love to find folks that are creative in the musical space
Mm-hmm.
because it's interesting. We obviously talked a little bit about it. Um,
We've t-
recently when we had Dr. Robert Hazen on and
yep.
Dr. Wong on,
Yeah, it would be neat to it would be really interesting to have musicians, musical creators, just writ large, who also operate like an RPG or RPG adjacent spaces. That like
like Mythic
Mythic
Thunderlute.
Thunderlute. I was thinking this, yes, I was
Yes.
thinking about them the other day. Man, do I miss their podcast. It's still just the most silly creative thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. They are so creative and so unique and so good. I have to look. I have to see if and when they are ever going to make it back around into Milwaukee again.
Oh,
Um,
I would come in.
so because if they do, then that would be a trip worth it to go see them.
Oh my
Um,
God, without question.
I think some folks in the creative space in the musical realm, I would love to see um like we obviously have friends in the world of science on our
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I would love to see more of that and see more of that where there is more of that intersection into the RPG world. and
Yeah.
anyone who's in the science realm and how, if and where RPGs have played um, any sort of um, have had any sort of impact
Hmm.
on them. We're
And
able, and based off of, and you're going to hear this in an upcoming episode. We're going to
right.
actually
I
have,
was gonna
but
say
we won't talk,
no.
we won't give anything away, but we're going to have
Yeah,
a
right.
returning guest come and talk about
Yep.
that.
And because we've had guests affiliated with NASA, Planetary Society, things like that. So I mean, they are definitely out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and it doesn't even have to be RPG. It can be board game related because you have a
Yep.
board game sitting on your shelf that we need to play. Um,
Oh, I mean, it's right up there, Extronaut.
yes,
Um, oh man, I mean, I'm not a board game person, but right, that was right, Dante Loretta,
yes,
from the well, now the Osiris Rex mission, but uh man, I that's one of the few board games where I would just love to play. But again, we have to be together. It takes some time. It's complicated. It's fascinating.
yeah, yeah. But I think interest in that is going, and I think it would be interesting for us. We haven't really talked about it much. We didn't really need to because just with everything going on. Um, you know, and I don't think it has to even be focused episodes. We'll continue our lit and RPG focus. That's just
Hmm.
something that's permeated our episodes. Anywhere
Hmm.
where we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
Hmm.
Um, but anywhere where people want to talk about how RPGs have helped them from a mental health perspective in a positive way.
Excellent. Yeah, more of that.
Especially in these times, finding creative outlets and finding ways to bring positivity to your life
Hmm.
when it's very easy to get caught in the negative.
Excellent. I'll add to that another topic or kind of suite of topics we haven't explored much, certainly not with guests, is um the potential roles of technology and TTRPGs.
Mm,
I'm not thinking so much computer games, not computerized RPGs, but and I'm thinking more than VTTs, but like what are the potentials for technology to enliven gameplay? Whether that's AI summaries,
AI.
whether that's here are some neat tools, there's all kinds of stuff going on out there. And those are the ways of the future. That would be really, really interesting to talk to people about who are either designing it, creating it, doing it. That would be very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of stuff to explore.
Yeah. I think that to be honest with you, I think there's a whole area of AI that we have to get into. I've actually done
Hmm.
this with looking at like board games and things like
Yeah.
that, and looking at like solo play RPGs and things like that. You know, what the term is like roll and write is the term I'm
Yeah.
starting to see more of.
Okay. So
So
I have someone in mind
good.
who can speak to this eventually because he's jamming something and he's actively using this. And the plan all along has been when our adventure is done, that there will be, and I'm using this with a lowercase p and air quotes, there will be a publishable version to put out to the world of our game based on AI synopses of
Aha.
notes he writes up with every session. I will say, excuse me, watching him build this, Michael, you know who you are,
Yep.
watching him build this in our Discord server. The storytelling is just absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Right, right. It just so yeah. So lots of things, lots of things as always.
Yeah. Um I think AI could, you know, change a lot about how people game. I think it has the potential to do a lot of positive. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
can be a little bit acerbic about it. I think
But we have, like any other technology or tool, we have to learn how to use it well, not inappropriately. And I think that's definitely that's definitely an issue.
so. Um, that's the AI one. I think is a hot topic because I had an article that I had sent out to a couple friends. I may have actually sent it to you. Maybe I didn't about the how advanced it's moving, how quickly it's advancing.
Oh,
You know, you know.
amazing. Yeah.
And I will tell you, I was using it just in, um, I was using it for some like test run stuff with some 5e things I was working on.
Tinder?
No,
No. Okay, good.
no, no need for that anymore.
No.
Um, at least for the time being. And I'll be in my bunk. But ultimately, um, I think from an AI perspective, you can go out there and there is so much that you can actually potentially teach, like even agentic AI, agent-based AI
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Um, that I don't know. I'm not going to ramble. I think I'll save it for an episode.
Yeah. It would be good to have some people really in the know
Yeah,
come on with all these topics. All right, I think that's a good place to wrap our 5 year anniversary first State of the Dice episode. Um episode 167. Not too
I'm
shabby.
gonna do the 6-7 thing
Oh, don't ruin a perfectly good episode.
for my daughter who never is going to listen,
Your
but
daughter's in college. She's not doing 6-7.
no, but she laughs every time I send her something 6-7 related, and she'll send it just because of the humor of it all. So I'm
So stay
doing it.
tuned for next week when I introduce our new co-host to Dyson Mind.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Aaron Peterson, you're up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I already
So,
talked to him enough. I think we're good. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. You
Yeah.
made, yeah. So, but no, truly 5 years. It's been a true pleasure doing
Yep.
this with you.
Right back
I
at
have,
you.
I have enjoyed every minute of this. It has been a lot of fun. I am looking forward to another 5 years or 5 episodes, however long we have. Um,
Somewhere
whatever,
in the middle. We'll
somewhere in the
see.
middle, wherever
Yeah.
that may be, and the projects that we are talking about and that we aren't talking about because we haven't thought of yet.
That's right. And those are the most often the most interesting ones.
Yeah.
So the future, whether it's 2026, 2027, what's coming from Dyson Mind, many, many, many more episodes with interviews, writing, a con, and we keep saying it, it's going to happen, actual role playing.
Yes.
You know the deal. Thanks so much for being with us on our 5 year anniversary. Be well, stay well. We'll see you in a couple weeks.